your foot and ankles feel stiff, weak, or tight, or you're struggling to do particular activities like running, jumping, and changing direction, today I'm going to go through a simple 4 exercise sequence that you can implement straight away to start to build stronger feet and ankles, and also explain the reasons why you might have been going wrong in the past and trying things that aren't really getting you anywhere. So let's jump into it. The first thing to understand is why your foot strength actually matters and why it impacts obviously what your foot and ankle does, but also what the rest of your body does. So your feet are obviously the foundation of your body. So if we have weak feet, we then get weak ankles, and we then get a lot of the time weak hips, and it almost like a cascade effect further up the chain or the body. And so a lot of the time, if we can solve what's going on with the feet, this can also help other issues if you are also struggling with, I don't know, knee or hip pain, because a lot of the time this can be linked to weak feet or a lack of mobility at the foot and ankle. Rehab is training. So a lot of the stuff you might have tried previously on YouTube, which might have been foam rolling or some random stretches, there's no clear progression between exercises, and actually it's a bit wishy-washy. So you need simple progressive strength work where you can gradually challenge yourself more and more, and you can progress and make the exercises more difficult instead of just going around circles with some random banded exercises or sitting on a foam roller not getting anywhere. So tonight's session is going to be some early stage exercises which can apply to anyone struggling with foot or ankle pain, or anyone who just wants to get stronger feet and ankles. So some important notes before we start. We want to chat about the pain score and just run through this. So if you imagine a scale of 0 to 10, 10 is the worst pain imaginable, 0 is no pain. With these exercises, make sure that you're not going above that 3 out of 10 pain score. So a little bit of pain is okay, but anything above a 3 out of 10, there's some ways we can decrease pain. Number one is to decrease the range of motion on the exercise, so the amount of movement in the exercise, until you can get it down into this range between 0 to 3. Another way to do it is to simply decrease the amount of exercises you're doing, so the sets and reps, and sometimes particular exercises just don't agree with you, so maybe just skip the ones that are causing you, again, more discomfort than 3 out of 10. And then you also just want to be aware of flare-ups, so that 24-hour pattern after you've done these exercises, just make sure that it's not causing an increase in pain, and again, you can make all those same adjustments if it is causing above a 3 out of 10 pain. Again, you can reduce the range of motion in a particular exercise, decrease the weight you're using as well, that's another one, decrease sets, reps, or just the frequency you're doing it per week. So a lot of the time, doing nothing is not the answer. We want to find that sweet spot where you're challenging yourself, you're getting stronger, you're getting more mobile, but you're not flaring up the issue. And then the last little point, you want to, alongside these exercises, you want to decrease the volume of that painful activity that fled up your foot and ankle pain potentially in the first place, such as maybe a certain amount of volume, walking volume per week, a certain amount of running, whatever the activity is. You probably want to decrease the amount you're doing this as well while you're doing this rehab, because again, this is going to decrease your pain further, and you'll get far more benefit from the exercises if you're in less pain. So let's jump into it. First 2 exercises we've got is a pronation half rep and a pronation full rep. So this is a video I sent to a client, so I'm just going to play it. You'll be able to hear the volume through this. We should be able to hear the volume through this. If not, I'll run through it. But no, you're not going to be able to hear the volume, so I'll run through it. So you're going to set up in this position, which is staggered stance. So we have one foot in front of the other, and then all we're going to do is transfer our weight from our heel to the middle of our foot. So you'll see here my shin is at a negative angle. So what I mean by that is my shin is almost behind my heel. All I'm going to do is rock my shin a little bit forward, so then the pressure is into the middle of my foot. So I'm bending my knee a little bit, pushing my shin forward. I'm not going to go more forward than this, and then I'm going to rock back. So this is a half rep. So really, really simple. My other foot, you can't really see it in shot, but it's just in a staggered stance slightly behind the other one. So all we're doing here is teaching your foot to understand the difference in foot pressure between your heel, which you'll get with this negative shin angle, and then as you rock your knee forward, you'll get it into the middle of your foot. So it's really, really that simple. A lot of the time, like with stretches and foam rolling, you will target like specific tissues. So you might roll out your calves or other muscles in your foot and ankle, but really foot pressure is really important, and understanding the different foot pressures is really important, because if we look at how people walk and how they run, we need to be able to transition smoothly between heel pressure to midfoot pressure to then toe off, which is essentially what walking or running is. And if your foot struggles to do this, and a lot of the time it will, if it's weak or you've had previous injuries here, then we need to train it to understand how to do that again. Perfect. So I'm just demonstrating there that I don't want to go any further than that. So if I drive all the way over, this is not what we're going to be doing for the half rep. So you can just do one set of 10 reps here on each side, nice and slowly. Again, this is a sensation exercise, just noticing the difference between heel and then midfoot pressure. So now we go into a full rep. So exactly the same exercise, we're just going to increase the range of motion a bit and make it a bit more challenging. So from here, we're going to go from a negative shin angle, and we're just going to drive that knee a little bit further forward. So pressure's in the heel. Perfect, I'll just pause it there. So I've bent my knee a bit more. My knee has gone a little bit further over my toes. And what you'll notice is the arch of my foot has flattened into the floor. So this is the next element, and this is the difference between the half rep and the full rep of this pronation drill. And then as I come back out, you'll see that I've now got a little bit of a gap and I've got a nice arch in my foot. So essentially what we're looking to do is, as we bend that knee and as that knee goes forward, we're looking to close that arch of the foot, which is pronation, and then opening the arch of the foot is supination. Everything else is staying still. So my heel isn't coming off the floor, it's not moving, my big toe isn't moving. The only thing that's changing here is where the pressure is. So it's going from my heel here into the middle of my foot, and then with this full rep, we're closing the arch off. So arch flattening, arch opening. Really, really simple. As I drive forward, arch flattens. As I drive back, as I come back, arch opens. So we're getting some really nice movement at the middle of the foot without the whole foot clunking around. So again, you could do one set of 10 reps here each side, nice and slowly. So those are the first two exercises. Really simple, will give you a lot of benefit. Then the next one, I've stolen this from David Gray, which he'll let me do because I've just taken a screenshot off YouTube. This is a single leg balance with a toe smash. So again, barefoot for this one. Few steps. You're going to stand on one leg to start with. You're going to slightly bend that knee to get your weight forward. And then, as you can see from this picture, what he's got Kira doing, I believe, is just taking your heel off the floor, credit card distance. So you can see her heel is just a little bit off the floor. All she's going to do then is hold this position while she slams her toes aggressively down into the floor. And you'll get some really nice contractions, and you'll feel all the muscles working really hard around your toes and potentially around a lot of areas in your foot. And all I want you to do is one set of 60 seconds on each side. This will be really challenging, and usually more challenging on one side compared to the other one, especially if you've had previous ankle or foot injuries on one side compared to the other one. So again, slight knee bend, standing on one leg, slight knee bend to get your weight forward, lifting that heel credit card distance off the floor, balancing, and then during the 60 seconds, pushing your toes as hard as you can down into the floor. Then we have the final exercise. So this is a single leg calf raise isometric. So an isometric is just holding one position. We're not moving through any range of movement. So we're going to hold this isometric in this neutral position. And what I mean by that, if you look at the position of his foot, we're not at the top of the calf raise. We're not fully relaxed at the bottom of the calf raise. We're in this middle portion. And he's got about half of his foot off the box and then half of it on. And you're simply going to hold this position for 3 sets of 45 seconds on each side. Now, For most of you, this will be fairly easy to do. So to make this more challenging, what you can do is add a weight in your hand like a dumbbell or a kettlebell, which I'll get into in a minute now. So this is the program, and this is how I would do this. The mobility stuff, which is the first 3 exercises, I would do for 5 to 10 minutes every day. That's probably how long it's going to take you. 10 minutes is probably a bit much, to be honest. So a pronation half rep, 1 set of 10 reps on each side. Pronation half rep again, heel pressure to midfoot pressure, then pronation full rep, heel pressure to midfoot with closing that arch, 1 set of 10 reps, and then the single leg balance with toe smash, 1 set of 60 seconds on each side. And then alongside that, I would do the single leg calf raise isometric 3 times a week. So it gives your muscles time to get stronger and recover. 3 sets of 45 seconds on each side, 3 times a week. And again, make this challenging. Don't let this be easy. Make it challenging with a dumbbell or a kettlebell in your hand, or even potentially a barbell on your back. Again, making sure with all of these that you're staying within that 0 to 3 out of 10 pain score range. Those first 3 exercises are very unlikely to push that range above a 3 out of 10. The only one that might is the single leg calf raise isometric if you've got a very sensitive foot or ankle, and obviously when you're loading it heavy. So just be cautious of that. I want you to load it heavy, but obviously if you're pushing above that 3 out of 10, decrease the weight, be patient, and then gradually increase that week by week. So that is the video. Very, very simple, very, very easy sequence to follow. And yeah, you can implement that straight away to see a lot of benefits in terms of more mobile feet, stronger ankles, and it's going to translate over really well to getting you back to running, jumping, and change direction. This small sequence, though, only makes up a small portion of what effective foot and ankle rehab would look like. So it will only get you kind of a small bit of the way. So if you do want some one-to-one help with it, I'll drop the link to my coaching down below. Just be the top link. You can check that out if you are interested.